Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Well, you've been here already part of the day and had a very busy agenda, so I'm glad to be here with you all. Thank you for having me. I am always honored to add my support for the North Carolina Partnership to address adult abuse and the wonderful, great work that you do for the people of North Carolina. You're at one of the great jewels of the community college system here at Wake Tech, so thank them for having the hospitality to have you all today. I know there are all kinds of people attending today. Many of you have dedicated your careers to helping our people stay safe and healthy. And we got a few from Harnett County, or at least Campbell folks here, you know? Yeah. Hey, okay, good to see you all. Others of you came because the issues we are discussing today have impacted your loved ones. I expect there's a mix of some of those too in your stories. Now, if you're wondering why North Carolina Secretary of State is up here talking for these two sessions, let me help you out. First, it's true that there are some things that I am not. I am not a medical professional. Notwithstanding 4 honorary degrees, I tell folks take an aspirin, call a real doctor in the morning. I am not a psychologist or a therapist of any kind, although if you're active in politics, you do know a lot about human psychology. And I'm certainly not a number crusher or statistician. I have a liberal arts degree on the wall to prove it. So, I am, however, several other things. I am a statewide elected official with my own constitutionally recognized department, meaning you are my only bosses, assuming you vote. And I do have some freedom on what issues I promote. I am the head of the Secretary of State's law enforcement units, which many secretaries of state do not have law enforcement authority. I supervise law enforcement agents with guns and badges to fight white-collar crime in North Carolina. I am a person who many times over has faced serious family health crisis. I've made the same kind of hard decisions that probably started many of your journeys to being into this room today. I am an attorney who once ran my own family law practice and saw many of the issues that you deal with. I am one of you. As the person that I am, I thank you all for the caring dedication you show our families and the aging population of North Carolina. Treating, counseling, and ministering to those in need, particularly during that time in a person's life when emotional and physical health issues often reach crisis levels. It's not just a job or a vocation, it's a calling. Your efforts are not for the faint of heart or spirit. I thank you, each and every one of you, for doing that spiritual heavy lifting in your communities. I have been there for loved ones who are trying to reach whatever peace and happiness they can, while their physical bodies and emotions betray them on many levels. I've dealt with the baggage that goes with those moments, the stress, the bills, trying to find medical professionals you can trust. It all weighs heavily on those who give guidance and comfort, I know. What it makes particularly, though, in the moment in our history is that we have a rapidly growing elderly population at the same time that we have turmoil in our government and in society. Programs get altered. Health plans and other insurance plans get changed. Many families today are fractured and unsupportive. The cost of living and housing continues to rise. And as your theme for this annual conference says it so well, elder abuse doesn't discriminate. We are all familiar with the cases that run the gamut, no matter the race, the income, gender, or religion involved. It's a real threat to everyone, no matter who they are as they age. All of this means that meeting these challenges for the people you are helping can overwhelm you. I imagine you often feel like that, except for those here today, that many of the adults have left the room. I don't have all the answers to those stressful issues. I can say this, though, as anthropologist Margaret Mead once wrote, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." On the issues of aging, protecting the dignity and security of senior North Carolinians, you, my friends, are the small group of thoughtful, committed people that she was referencing. Thank you for your work and your ideas to improve things. I want you to know that the North Carolina Secretary of State's office stands with you. We have important functions and resources to help. Building programs and targeting white-collar crime in order to assist and protect people, particularly older folks, from having their golden years ruined is a major reason I became Secretary of State in the first place. White-collar crime, make no doubt about it, happens right here in North Carolina. Just last week, we had a Forsyth County grand jury issue 12 felony indictments against a Clemens investment advisor there. 4 counts of investment advisor fraud, 4 counts of obtaining property by a false pretense, 4 counts of financial exploitation of an older adult. Felony counts, felony counts. The very dollar amount we believe stolen is big, very big. We don't believe we've uncovered all the victims yet. I will be talking law enforcement and how you can help protect seniors from investment fraud shortly in Workshop A on your program. Our Secretary of State Director of Investment Education, John Marin, who introduced me and is right down here, will point out in that presentation, so I hope you can attend. This marks the start of John's busiest season. As you probably know, Elder Abuse Awareness Day worldwide is June 15, and we are now in what is thought of as Elder Abuse Awareness Month. That means John is doing scam jams all around North Carolina this month and 3 more in June. Details of those events are all on our website on the calendar part. You can find all the information about those scam jams that are happening across the state to promote or attend at sosnc.gov. That's sosnc.gov. If you feel you should attend one of the competing workshops this afternoon instead of ours, please go to our department website. Again, it's sosnc.gov. And right at the top, click Divisions, and then the word Securities. That will take you to the most of the information that we're going to be discussing a little bit later. Okay, there are 2 other programs that we run that can be used by every single person in this room and by the patients, clients, and loved ones you deal with every day. I want to pitch them to you because they're really important and either free or at least very low cost. As Secretary of State, another hat I wear is that I'm in charge of protecting North Carolinians from counterfeit products. This duty falls under my title as our state's chief issuer and protector of trademarks. We try to stop everything from the criminals who show up at sporting events to sell fake tickets or fake t-shirts to seriously safety and health issues like imported knocked-off electrical products that at one time, this one contained an Underwriter Laboratories sticker, the gold standard for electrical product. It was simply twisted up, plugged into the wall, and you can see here where it melted through and began to go into flames. Those are the kind of products that keep me awake at night and worried about what's going on in America to try to protect North Carolinians. We try to stop those things by saying that they're unsafe. Fire hazards. I have law enforcement agents who prowl flea markets and shipping terminals looking for these kind of counterfeit products. A couple of years ago, we started running into a new line of dangerous fake products that are very hard to keep out of North Carolina by conventional methods. These products are being pushed onto the most vulnerable people of our society, those who need prescription medicines and having trouble paying the financial cost of getting those medications. I'm talking about the rise of the so-called online pharmacies. These are the countless, very friendly-looking internet websites lurking on everyone's computer. They have warm and fuzzy images on those sites of happy older couples smiling at the bottle of pills that have just arrived in the mail. They typically have great-looking icons or badging on them showing that they're members of some respected pharmacy association. They will have stamps of approval from various government agencies. These websites are very respectable looking. Most of them are criminal enterprises and are fake pharmacies. As we became more aware of this threat, we started brainstorming about how to fight back against these fake pharmacies. It's not unusual for me to caution people about a knockoff or a counterfeit of some sort, but I always like to give them some way that they can get help. And it perplexed me for a long time about how do we do this with the pharmaceuticals. After all, no matter what they say that they're located in Canada, which is frequently a favorite fake location, they most often are located in Asia or in the Middle East, beyond where North Carolina regulators or any U.S. regulators can get at them. They may be shipping through Canada, but they are not what you're thinking of when you hear the phrase Canadian pharmacy. So we face several problems with this issue. First off, as far as we could tell, none of these criminals were in North Carolina. Next, we determined that when we found a fake pharmacy, we could ask the internet service provider to shut them down. That can take weeks to go through the motions. And shutting down a website is almost useless. The operators typically are running dozens, if not hundreds, of sites. Besides, you shut one down and they're back up with another one tomorrow with a slightly different name. It becomes whack-a-mole. We also found that all of the companies being used indirectly by these crooks are also sick of them. They are the internet service provider companies, the credit card companies, the shipping companies that all get dragged into this dirty business by the crooks. They became concerned that their products and services were being abused. So the problem is that there is no state government funding for any meaningful law enforcement against crooked foreign websites, which meant we had to get creative. People in state government are just like teachers. We can be creative. In our case, we did something that had never been done by any other state government agency anywhere. Every year, the federal government gives about 10 of the 50 states a grant to fight counterfeits. We have won those annual grants several times thanks to our reputation for going after fake products. We asked for that grant again 2 years ago, and we wanted to use a big block of that grant to fight counterfeits through a public awareness program. We told the federal government that we would tailor the awareness campaign to combat counterfeit medicines and these bogus online pharmacies that prey on people in need of medication. The feds were impressed and they gave us the grant. We pitched that topic to the feds for several reasons. First, fake prescription drugs kill people. No one knows what's in those counterfeit pills. All we know is that the medicine patients need may or may not be in there, along with who knows what type of other fillers that can be toxic. Remember, no one is regulating these bogus online pharmacies. They may be selling pills that are 100% fake. They may contain a weak amount of the needed drug or too much of the needed drug. Who knows? No one does. No one knows how it was made, how it was stored, or how old it is. Here's an example of the problem. We learned years ago that fake medicines sometimes use highway paint to make the pills the right color. Instant toxic ingredients in medicines. We wanted this North Carolina effort to form new partnerships with national organizations. In this case, the Center for Safe Internet Pharmacies. The Center for Safe Internet Pharmacies is a national 501c3 organization created by a group of credit card companies, internet service providers, the shippers that fight fake prescription drugs being sold and moved through the internet. Remember when I said all of these companies are sick and tired of being used by the fake medicine crooks? Well, they formed their own organization to fight them, called the Center for the Safe Internet Pharmacy, or CSIP. CSIP members include Google, Yahoo, Facebook, American Express, MasterCard, Discover, PayPal, GoDaddy, UPS. And for your information, there's not a single pharmaceutical dollar in this at all. We know that a lot of people are not always trusting what the pharmaceutical companies say, and so there are no pharmacy participants in this group. These companies have all joined forces, hoping to keep the services they provide from becoming part of the counterfeit drug trade. Until 2 years ago, they'd been working on their own. And then we said, hey, If we give you some seed money from our federal grant, can you partner here in North Carolina? Can you market the message to our population, to North Carolinians? Can we be effective in fighting these fake drug companies? The long, short story is we partnered with the center and boom. We've gotten messaging up and running in 2017, and the results have been nothing short of fantastic. The number of click-throughs to the site where you can check out whether a pharmacy is legitimate or not was amazing. In the first year of the project, I have never done so many interviews or seen so many stories on counterfeit products, newspaper stories, TV news stories, civic group newsletter articles, trade association newsletter stories, and more. We connected to the public consciousness and the news media interest in a new, powerful way, thanks to the marketing help we got from the center. The center linked its own website search engine. It lets anyone check if an online pharmacy meets required U.S. pharmaceutical standards for selling prescription medicines. What happened was, if somebody in North Carolina was searching for a particular drug and they were looking for, and it came up a Canadian drug, a pop-up message would come and said to them, do you know if this is a legitimate pharmacy? And people then could click through, copy the URL from the site that you had gone to and plug it in, and it would tell the person looking whether it was a legitimate pharmacy, a rogue pharmacy, or at this point they couldn't tell. It was an amazing tool. Tens of thousands of North Carolina have now gotten the message about how most online pharmacies are unsafe and fake. When I say most, the federal government has told us 97% of the online pharmacies. So when somebody says they've got an ability to figure it out on their own, that is just a fallacy. It became known as Verify Before You Buy Public Awareness Campaign. The name comes from the website, and you can go check on an online pharmacy's status. So again, the website for this is verifybeforeyoubuy.org. Put all those words together, verifybeforeyoubuy.org. The campaign has become a real breakthrough in allowing us, a state government agency, to make new partnerships in many of North Carolina's best nonprofit organizations. AARP is a strong supporter, and we're grateful. The North Carolina Chamber of Commerce, the North Carolina Retail Merchants Association, the North Carolina Justice Center, the North Carolina Council of Churches, the North Carolina Academy of Family Physicians. It was amazing to me to deal with the family physicians in particular. They, when they prescribe a medicine to someone and they don't get the expected outcome, tend to think that the person either did not get the prescription filled or in some way didn't take it properly. Now we have people who didn't get the right outcome to bring their prescription bottle in and actually check it in doctors' offices to find out whether or not it is from a fake source or not. And it has been an incredibly eye-opening experience for these doctors. I hope that you've had a chance to see Verify Before You Buy. The brochure is in your packet. All the information, the contact information is right there. If you would like some more of these, John has brought some. We can make mass quantities available to you for further distribution. Maybe not today. John's giving me a funny look. But they look like this. Right on the front, you can see the website for consumers, and it's our apartment's official seal. On the back, you can see the logos of our nonprofit, charitable, and civic partners, as well as our commercial partners. Our Center for Safe Internet Pharmacies partner put together a PSA message for everyone in North Carolina doing a search on prescription drugs, Canadian pharmacies, online pharmacies, or searching on a particular drug name. These messages have been appearing. This is where pop-up messages that I find very annoying are very, very helpful. This has been a great help. They alert everyone to the fact that most, almost all in terms of numbers, are fake, suspect, or illegal, and it's better to get your prescriptions here in the United States. The verifybeforeyoubuy.org site itself has all kinds of other helpful information listed there to give consumers knowledge about how to fight back and not be duped. The center information also warns consumers that when you expose your personal information and credit card numbers to crooks, you're putting yourself at risk to have your identity stolen and your credit cards hacked. They have an absolutely wonderful short video on the site featuring real families talking about the risk of identity and credit card number theft. It's a video I wish every single person in America could watch. These online pharmacies are run by bad people, sometimes organized crime, people that you would not normally want to deal with at all. When someone sends your credit card number to them, you're basically handing international crooks the ability to steal identities. The biggest practical tip for you on using the site's search engine, if you're looking at the supposed pharmacy, is again to copy that URL. Don't try to retype it in there. Copy and paste it in there, making sure that you're not making a mistake. That's how you'll get past all the clever things that the fake sites might do. Remember, the crooks put these sites online all day long. Whenever one becomes a fake, they're on to the next one if it gets taken down. Please urge people who are thinking about getting their prescriptions online to always do the test. Verify before you buy. Now, I am not talking about when your pharmaceutical or insurance carrier has told you you must purchase through an online source. Those are controlled networks. I'm talking about just getting out there on the internet and looking for these. I realize in this day and age that medicines are very expensive, and I realize how tempting it is to try to game the system and try to buy them online. All I know to say is that working on the price of medicine is a Washington, D.C. issue, and a very important one. We are about to have election for people to go to the United States Congress coming up in November. You need to get out there and talk to them about drug prices in general and let them know that people are concerned. People can't get it, and can't get what they need, and they need to be dealing with the issue more thoroughly. In the meantime, though, we must not let our people be poisoned or receive useless pills or get the incorrect dosage of needed medicines just because they got desperate and tried to do something online. Now, here in year 2 of the program, we've just expanded it to include a new feature. We just launched a sister website to verifybeforeyoubuy.org, and it's called medicinesafe.org. Medicinesafe.org. This campaign just started with the help of yet another new federal grant. And it includes ways that you and all families can fight back against the growing opioid crisis gripping this nation and North Carolina right now. It is so new, we've not yet printed up the materials yet, but you can go to the Verify website, and there's a link for safemedicine.org. Right there, you can click it and move to that website. This new partnership is also with CSIP and the the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids. That's the new player in this. And the state of Connecticut, which is now joining this effort to promote the website to the public. We welcome Connecticut jumping in, and we hope to get the other 48 states rolling. As I said when started, I'm not a medical professional, but I do regulate fake goods and the criminal pipelines that carry them. So our focus with this new outreach about opioid abuse and the sale of counterfeit opioids, because that exists too, is to focus on the practical steps that you and I and everyone can help to stop the flow of opioids from getting into the wrong hands. On medicinesafe.org, we have guides showing how you should treat prescribed opioids like valuable jewelry or firearms in your home. Keep them secure and know how much there is so you can tell if any are missing. Another big point of disposing of leftover opioids once you or someone in your family is no longer taking them for pain. These are big points because one thing we learned in looking at this issue is that the single biggest way they make it into the illegal drug trade is by someone either taking pills, stealing pills from bottles in the home, or by forgotten bottles of pills after some event is over. They are stolen by everyone from thieves who go to real estate open houses simply for the opportunity to look in medicine cabinets and bathroom closets for them, or to kids or friends of your kids who have come to your house for whatever reason who also take the same opportunity? What about those who come to make a condolence visit after someone has passed away and they plunder in the bathroom looking for drugs that may have been used toward the end of that person's life? These are all issues that I personally never thought about until getting more versed on the problem. The other part of MedicineSafe.org website is content to show how your family can get counseling help and emergency assistance. Much of this information is provided to the website by the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids. It is excellent information. I am so impressed with this site. It has 24-hour-a-day counselors available, real people to talk to. Families can talk to somebody up to 2 and 3 hours. These people are not on a time clock. They are all people who have been there in their family with varying successes. When folks are suspicious or teachers are suspicious, they just don't know where to begin. They have a lot of troubling thoughts in their minds about how they should treat this family member, or how do they protect them, how do they help them. Calling this organization is an incredibly good way to get started because they've all walked that same pathway at some point or another. They know how to handle, they know what works, they know what doesn't work, and lots of times folks don't want to expose themselves to think that somebody in their family might be dealing with or becoming addicted to opioid or dealing with this. So this is a way to get good, reliable information from and remain anonymous to your friends or even your family doctor. So this is a very good tool. So please go to Verify Before You Buy and then click on over to the Medicine Safe. There's one more big way the Secretary of State's office can help you in your efforts to keep older Carolinians living with dignity. That's my department's Advanced Healthcare Directory. I hope you already know about it, and I hope that you're suggesting it in your work. If you don't know about it, many years ago, the North Carolina General Assembly acknowledged our skills in database management, and they approved our department overseeing an online registry where people can file directives for 4 things: the healthcare power of attorney, the declaration of a desire for a natural death, also called a living will, advance instruction for mental health treatment, and the declaration of an anatomical gift or organ donor card. This is probably about the only audience in North Carolina where I don't need to sell you on the importance of having these directives signed and ready for future use. You already know that when people skip filling out when they're healthy and don't want to think about the future, it causes huge problems with medical care and end-of-life care later. We can all think back to the very famous Terri Schiavo case years ago, when family members had totally different views about how she would want to be treated, and it became a national tragedy that we watched play out on the TV news day after day. I wanted to do something to help back then. My idea was that we could make these directives and their instructions for filling out available through the internet. We used the template that the North Carolina Bar and the General Assembly had approved, and we added them to our database services. Our department puts millions of public records online for people to use every day all over the internet. We have lots of experience with this in the business world, corporate world. Our Advanced Care Healthcare Directive is separate and apart and secure from all of the eyes that visit everything else on our website. The great thing about them being electronic records on the internet versus only being paper documents is, of course, accessibility. All of you know that people do not get critically sick just 9 to 5 on Monday through Friday. People just don't get sick at home always. The problem with paper directives locked in a bank safety box or hidden in the bottom of a hall in a fireproof closet, a cabinet, is that no one can find them when they need to, when an emergency comes up. People either forget where these directives are, or they literally have no way of going to the bank on a Saturday or a Sunday, or sending somebody to their house to pull out every drawer to find the key to that fireproof box. Now, these are not public. When you file a registration for, say, healthcare power of attorney, you get back a card that looks like a credit card with an access code on it. Use that code when you go to the website to pull up that registration. This is one passcode, access code that you do not want to keep private. I recommend you give it to your family. I recommend that you put it up on the refrigerator. I recommend that you let everybody in your bridge or your church circle know that you have done this, so that when something does happen, somebody will remember, oh, I know that it's registered, and I know where the card is that we can go tell a doctor to go find it and get the information. So give it to your doctor, give it to your spouse, give it to your children. Put it somewhere where the EMTs would look for it, again, on the refrigerator. Since every emergency room out there and every smartphone has internet access these days, the code will make it easier to find, to make it clear in that hospital room what the individual wanted to happen at this point in their life. So when that dreaded emergency happens, people can use these. I've had hospital clergy tell me that things that happen in the hospital room are some of the occurrences that can never be healed within a family, because children have different ideas about how mother or father should be taken care of. And so it's often very, very hard to bring that family back together. So I hope you know about our registry, but if you don't, please go to that website, sosnc.gov, and there you will see all about the processes, how you sign them, and the forms. So if you're not familiar with the website, you just go up to the main page, and on the left-hand side, you'll see forms by category. Advanced healthcare, it's A, it's at the top of the list, so just click on it. That will take you to the directory site, and there are all the forms and FAQs. This is our only service I'm talking about today that is not completely free. We have to keep it self-funded. You do have to pay $10 for each filing. I believe that that is a huge bargain in this day and time to have state-of-the-art filings available 24/7, 365 days, anywhere that you have your phone or a computer screen. Using these directives can keep family members from fighting one another or stressing out about what should happen in a healthcare crisis. Because the information they put on these forms answers the questions for everyone. Forms are there as well as the instructions. I'm a lawyer, but don't tell anybody you don't need a lawyer to do these. The AARP has been very, very helpful with promoting our advanced healthcare directive system, and they have become one of our main supporters for this. So we thank you. I hope you will all go visit sosnc.gov and look through the advanced directive section, and you can begin recommending using it as well. So as I started out, I want to conclude by saying thank you for all you do for North Carolina families. And remember, when I come back to the program for the workshops, John Marin will be with me. You also can, he puts up a monthly newsletter, and at the end of that is a schedule of activities that he and my consumer education staff is doing all around the state. So if you're not from the Wake County area and you're out somewhere, we'll be doing a scam jam near you pretty shortly. And if nothing's scheduled, get a group of people together and call us, and we can plan one. So in this afternoon, we're going to talk about scam artists and some of the wonderful, horrible things that they do to people. So I hope you'll join us. But thank you for this opportunity, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you're doing.